Namaste, beautiful friends. Now, I did try and do this video the other day and I did it amazingly. When I went to check it, my microphone had cut out halfway through. So let's try again. So we're coming into a standing, or we're starting in a standing position. Feet maybe just outside your hips. Arms relax, head in line with the spine, and just soften. Or close your eyes. If you don't want to close your eyes, just focus on the tip of your nose. So we turn our awareness inward. There's so many distractions in our lives nowadays. And it's good to kind of really turn your awareness inwards. And plus you notice more. As soon as you close your eyes, you notice the maybe subtle swaying, the subtle shifting of the weight. You notice the ground beneath your feet. You notice how your arms are hanging down from your sockets. You're able to notice any slight areas of tension that are maybe habitual that you wouldn't otherwise notice because it's become a habit. So this is why I always invite you to close your eyes and take the time to really check in, really tune in. So we're so busy nowadays, and often when we get on the mat, we're kind of thinking about what we're going to do next and what we've done this morning and And so it's really, really important. As I said before, yoga's not about perfect poses, it's about trying to find perfect peace, removing the things that prevent us from experiencing peace, whether that's physical reasons, psychological reasons, and it's really important, especially if you are busy and you've got other things to do after the session, to really devote this time to yourself. Remember, yoga is union, mind, body, breath, and also union with the world around you. The only moment that truly matters is this one, the eternal now. So if you think about the fact there is only now, then you're not late, because there's nowhere to rush to. There's only now. So really sink into that moment, sink into that thought that there is only now. Now is all there is. Now is forever and infinite and finite and all the paradoxes. So just be in this moment, simply noticing how you're feeling also as we transition into autumn as well, because at one time we lived more in tune with the seasons. We ate what was in season. I don't even know what's in season when nowadays, because we get food from all around the world. And, so one of the reasons we struggle health-wise is because electricity, we don't go to bed earlier as we once did. We used to go to bed when it got dark. Now we've got electricity, we can stay up later. So you may start to notice that your energy level starts to change as your body starts to prepare to go into the rest phase of winter. So it starts to slow down, just as everything in nature starts to slow down. But we think, oh, gotta keep going. So noticing those subtle changes so we can be more in tune with our body. So noticing how you might start to crave slightly warming food. So in the summer, you might eat more salady, light foods. You might start to begin craving slightly warmer foods right now. So noticing all of those things. And if you wish, just repeating this following affirmation and noticing how it feels in your body. I embrace the beauty of change, just as nature transforms and transitions, trusting that growth comes from letting go. I embrace the beauty of change, just as nature transforms and transitions, trusting that growth comes from letting go. Then you can think as you inhale, think transform, transition, trust. As you exhale, think letting go. Inhale, transform, transition, trust. Exhale, letting go. And think of letting go of the breath. You know, we don't worry about exhaling. We don't think, oh my God, if I exhale, I won't be able to inhale. I won't be breath to come. But us humans really struggle sometimes to let go of things. Me too. You know, letting go of people, places, things, habits, even things that aren't good for us. You know, we often struggle to let them go. And I think mostly because we worry that there's going to be nothing to replace it. But think of just as nature lets go, you know, just as the trees lose their leaves, we don't suddenly panic that the trees are all dying, right? You know, we know that they're going to come back again in the spring. So kind of think of that, keep that in mind throughout the session, thinking of how it is okay to let go and instead of resisting the change as we often do, and I do as well, how it would feel to embrace it rather than resisting it. So if you haven't already, opening your eyes, just get the energy flowing, just with a light fist. You're going to tap up the inside of one arm, down the outside. Full breaths in and out. When you come up this side, we're going to come across the heart. You can do a bit of your Tarzan. I just find I quite to repeat it when I do that. Sometimes in. Then we get on the other side, down the outside, up the inside. Inhale, transform, transition, trust. Exhale, letting go. Then we're going to come up and down the outside of the ribs, all the acupressure points, stimulating the energy, getting it all flowing, then going down the fronts of the thighs. Then we're going to come up the inside of the thighs, down the outside. Inhale, transform, transition, trust. Exhale, letting go. Then come up the backs of the thighs and just tap your lower back. And you can do a bit of sound effect if you wish. And release, and just shaking off the arms, shake it off. If anything's been stressing you out lately, and believe me, I've been really stressed lately. So thinking of shaking it off, it's good on a cellular level and an energetic level, literally thinking of shaking it off, letting it go. Anything that has been stressing you out, worrying you, bothering you, imagine shaking it off, shaking it out. Letting it go. We don't need to hang on to it. We can let it go. Fantastic. Then I'm going to step one foot slightly further forward than the other. Bring the arms up. Yes, arms up. We're going to inhale. Draw back your bow. Exhale. Release. Inhale. Transform. Transition. Trust. Exhale. Letting go. One more. In. Fill the body with breath. And out. Relax the arms. Step that foot in. Step the other foot forward. Arms up again. Inhale. Draw back. Fill your chest with breath. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Breathe in and out. One more in and out. Relax the arms. We're going to do a standing, moving variation of the alternate nostril breathing exercise, which helps to balance right and left side of the body. So just halfway down the nostril, lightly pressing to block that nostril. So we're going to inhale, open the arms out. So I'm going to twist to my left first. As I twist to the left, I'm going to bring my right thumb to gently block the right nostril, and I'm going to exhale through the left side as I twist to the left. I'm going to inhale back to center And I'm going to block the left nostril. I'm going to exhale through the right as I twist to the right. So nice and slow. Big breath in. And exhale as you twist. And that twisting motion also helps to kind of squeeze the breath out. So there's no rush, no hurry. And sometimes it's more challenging to slow down. You know, we're used to rushing around everywhere, rushing here, rushing there, rushing to do everything. So sometimes it's more of a challenge to just really slow down. So keep pressing into all four corners of the feet. And you might start to notice, so to begin with, when you breathe through one nostril, you'll notice one side feels like it's stuffed with cotton wool. And the other side starts to feel a little bit more open. We're going to finish exhaling through the left. We're going to inhale, come back to center. And exhale, relax the arms. I'm going to do a little exercise taken from Qigong. So just softening the knees so the weight goes down. And we take the arms out to the side, soft wrists. As you inhale, you pull back that arm, bring it to your side, lift the chest, flex that hand, sinking the weight down into the feet. And as you exhale, relax the arms down. Other side, float the arms up. Then inhale, slow breath in as you pull back. Again, like pulling back on a bow, flexing that hand, sinking a little bit deeper. And exhale, release. Other side, float the arms up. Inhale, so long, slow in breath, pressing that hand away. And exhale, release. Inhaling, other side, pull back across the chest, bring it to your side, flex that hand as if you're saying stop. And exhale, soften. One more each side, float the arms up. Inhaling as you pull back. Exhale, release. One more. And release, keeping the feet where they are. Now reach the arms up, exhale, just swing them back. Breathe in and out. You can inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, squeeze your butt as you reach up. You can start, if you wish, to make it a little bit bigger. Movement. I can think of letting go. You can, if you wish, come all the way through, reaching up to a little back bend and a forward bend. So you straighten the arms and legs as you come through. One more. I think that was two more. Never mind, release. I suddenly had a brain block and couldn't remember whether I finished on an up or I finished on a down, and my brain just went, see? That happens. Even when we've been teaching for a while, that happens. So soften the knees. Focus on a point. We're going to inhale. Float the arms up. Float one knee up. Exhale, soften. Imagine You're like a bird, maybe a crane or a stork, or maybe you want to be an eagle taking flight. Imagine the in-breath lifts you up. The out-breath brings you back to the earth, just like a balloon. When it fills with air, it floats away from the earth. When you let the air out, it comes back down to earth. If you're feeling a little bit wobbly, then you can just literally have the toe resting on the floor and just focus on the idea of taking flight and coming back down to earth. So you can really slow it down. Woo. There's no rush. Try not to overthink the arms on that either. Just allow, if you can, bring thumb and index finger together. Imagine your wings opening out. But again, don't lose too much sleep over it. Inhale, transform, transition, trust. Exhale, letting go. And that also means letting go of preconceived ideas of what you think it should look like. So let go of shoulds and just allow your variation, whatever that looks like. It's all good. And just one more each side again. Seeing if you can slow it right down. One more big breath in and out. Awesome. Then we're going to take the feet wider and we're going to practice our little warrior two. So just to start with, I'm going to have a little jiggle side to side, wiggle out the hips, just random movements. Maybe imagine having some music on, having a little kind of just wiggle jiggle. So there's no kind of, pattern or whatever. We get so rigid, even in our poses, we get so, go like this, go like this, go like this. And, it's good to just kind of have a random movement. It's okay. So good. Breathing in and out. Feeling both feet into the floor, maybe kind of doing a little circle with the hips. And around the other way. Now, I was having a discussion with a student the other day about Warrior 2. So Warrior 2 is when we turn the feet out and bend one knee. Now, he was trying to square the hips. Now, I prefer to look after the knee because to try and square hips and keep knee over ankle, it's, unless you're really, really either opening the hips or try and dislocate the hips, it's not going to work. So look after your knee. So my hips are pretty much come like to the corner when I come into Warrior 2. If I try and square the hips, that knee comes in and it's just not going to work. So I always say look after your knee first, and wherever your hips are is perfect. So we're going to just start off practicing turning your right foot out 90 degrees, turning out from your thigh. So you're lifting the ball of the foot, turn it all the way out. So it's turned out 90 degrees. Then turn your left toes in, or bring your left heel out, whichever way you want to look at it. And level out the pelvis so it's not like that. So that's kind of more like triangle. So we want to kind of like bring it into a level position, not square. So level, not trying to square it. So in other words, if your hips lifted, just kind of try and bring it back into a kind of levelish position. Bend the front knee. Now what tends to happen here is that knee goes way over the toes. So you can either stay a little bit higher up or wiggle the foot forward. But to start with, we're just going to focus on moving our feet. And we want to keep this knee. So look after this knee. This knee wants to be over the ankle rather than dropping in. So you're going to press that knee out. Kind of opening out around the hips. Spine nice and tall. Try and press into both feet. We tend to focus on the front foot. and forget about the back foot. So press into both feet, almost like you're trying to stretch the mat apart. Now, the other thing that often happens is we tend to kind of let it all hang out. So not tucking the tailbone under, but just make sure you're not sticking it out. And imagine pulling your front ribs in a little bit. Draw your pelvic floor muscles in and up a little bit, just to create a bit of stability, so it's not kind of like all, because sometimes it tends to be like all like that. But so you want to try and create a little bit of strength in a nice long spine. Then we're going to come up, so bring that foot forward. Then we're going to twizzle to the other side. So lift the ball of the left foot, turn it out from the thigh. So again, you're turning out the whole leg, not just the foot. You're turning out the whole leg. Spread out the toes. And turn the right toes in a little bit. So I tend to move the heel as opposed to the toes, but it's kind of like the same idea. Again, level out your pelvis. So it's level as opposed to square. Again, bend that knee, focus on this front knee, wherever your hips are. So again, if I had headlights on my hips, they'd kind of be pointing more that way. If I try and square my hips, that happens with the knee. I cannot keep the knee in position and bring the hips around. It's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So look after that knee, press into both feet. Imagine plumb lines from shoulders, hips, down to the floor. Again, draw your belly button in slightly, pelvic floor muscles in, ribs in, to create a nice long spine. Inhale up, come back to center, and switch. So right foot turns out, left heel turns out, or left toes turn in, whichever way you want to put it. Level out your pelvis, bend the front knee, but really press into that back heel as well. Again, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Nice long spine, squeeze your butt. That helps to open up the front of the thighs. Inhale up, twizzle the feet the other way, bend that knee, press into both feet. Excuse me, squeeze your butt, relax the shoulders. Then come up, come back to center. Turn the toes forward, breathe in. As you breathe out, slide your hands down the legs. Just come into a wide angled forward bend. And you might just stay here, or you might kind of like bring a little bit of movement in, a little bit of side lunge, or bend and extend the legs. You might feel like you need to move the head a little bit. Again, whatever automatically feels right for you. Trust that your body knows what it needs. Remember, we need to get out of our head, get out of that should, and into could. Could. I could do this. I could do this. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. And transition, trust, transform. Letting go of comparison, letting go of preconceived ideas. And release the arms, bend the knees, and start to roll up through the spine. And we're going to do that little Qigong archer exercise in Warrior 2. So we're going to turn our right foot out 90 degrees. We're going to turn the left toes in slightly, come into our little Warrior 2 position. Again, knee in line with ankle, press through both heels, draw the belly button in, spine nice and tall. So we float the arms up, and we inhale, pull back, just as we did earlier. Keep breathing in, flex that front hand. So again, really drawing that breath in. And exhale, relax the arms. Again, float the arms up. Inhale, pull back, strong. Really as if you're pulling back on a bow. Flex that hand, push the hand away as if you're trying to push something away. And exhale, soften. One more, breathing in, float, pull back. And breathe out, relax the arms, come back to the front. Take a breath here. Roll the shoulders, move the head a little bit. If there's any tension in your head or neck. And I'm going to go to the other side, so turn left foot out 90 degrees, right toes in, level out your hips so it's not wonky, bend that front knee, again draw your belly button in so you're holding the ribs in so you're not letting it all hang out. Now float the arms up, pull back and really put some oomph into it, flexing that hand, hold and exhale, release. Keep pressing into both feet, so strong legs. Inhale, float the arms, keep inhaling as you pull back, flex that hand, and exhale, soften. Last time. Inhale, transition, trust, transform, and exhale, let it go. Bring the straight legs, turn the toes in, and heel toe the feet. All the way back, maybe give the legs a bit of a shake out. Then come into a mountain pose. We're going to come into a tree pose. So to start with, come into mountain. So feet under hips, spread out the toes. Maybe just kind of shift a little bit forward and back. Maybe a little bit side to side. Also trust that our body will do everything it can, always does everything it can to keep us upright, okay? Our body wants to keep us safe. You know, we get to a certain point and it goes, oh, no, you've gone a bit too far. You know, so it will do everything in its power to keep you upright. Maybe even try and do like a little circular movement. So you're going from ball of the foot, right, left to heels, left, right. And just kind of whatever movement feels good for you and around the other way. Remember, it's not about, if you think about it, and I said this the other day, nothing in nature is perfect, right? You look at a tree or any plant, nothing is perfect. You never get a tree with like a perfectly round trunk with perfectly symmetrical branches, all that kind of thing. Flowers, they've never got perfectly symmetrical leaves or anything like that, or petals. Nothing in nature is what we call perfect. Perfect is a human idea. Okay, nothing in nature is perfect, but it's beautiful. Like you look at a flower and it might have one petal smaller than the other, blah, 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 but it's beautiful. It's us humans that get caught up in this idea of perfect or equal or whatever. So there is no such thing as perfect. Keep that in mind. That's just the ego idea, okay? And we're trying to get rid of the ego on the mat. And then try and find the point where you're pretty much balanced between right and left, big toe, little toe, inner, outer heel. Imagine roots extending from the soles of your feet, down through the floor, through the foundations, down into the soil. At some point, those roots join together, become one root, going right the way down, 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 through the layers of rock, the layers of wood and ash and bone and all those things, right down into the earth. Really anchoring you, keeping you safe, secure, remembering that things do move around, trees move around in the wind. At the same time, imagine stretching the crown of the head up towards the sky. Then we're just going to start to take the weight onto the right foot, still keeping that stretching up through the crown of the head, and we're going to find a tree pose. It might be here, it might be here, it might be here, it might be a little bit higher up, it might be up here. If you try and bring it up on the inner thigh, I prefer it just in front of the trouser seam. That way you can push your foot into the thigh and push the thigh into the foot. Lengthen up nice and tall, and just bring your arms into whatever position works for you. Maybe it's an asymmetric position. As I said, the branches on a tree are not perfect. They're not totally symmetrical. Just keep your eye gaze steady. Relax your shoulders. Bring a slight smile to your face. Notice how that relaxes your whole face. Full breath in. And out and release. starting to shift onto the left foot, again taking your time. So this is my not as good side, not so good side, but it's okay. I just take my time. I might need to take a different variation on this side, and that's okay. And if you're really wobbly, you can be close to a wall. I find if you stand so you're close enough to it so that you can kind of lean against it if you need to. And that can really help. So again, finding your point, relax the shoulders, stretch the arms out, or you may take them out to the side. Again, it's totally up to you. Full breath in, transform, transition, trust. Full breath out, letting go. And exhale, let it go. Just let the legs, shake up the arms. We're going to do that once more. So again, feel the ground beneath both feet. And start to take the weight onto the right foot. Coming into your variation. And don't be afraid to use wall. You'll still get benefits even if you're lightly resting your butt against the wall or a fingertip against the wall, or like so, hands against the wall. Maybe even, say, asymmetric arms with one finger against the wall. I mean, logically, it makes no sense that one finger touching the wall helps, but it does. Full breath in. And breathe all the way out. And again, full breath in. And all the way out. And release, coming down. And feel both feet into the floor. Start to shift the weight onto the left foot. Again, take your time, especially if you know it's a not so good side. So no trying to rush. Often we try and rush things, try and get them out of the way, but actually that has the opposite effect quite often. You're more likely to wobble. Again, find your stability. And we all have days when our balance is rubbish, by the way. So on those days, make use of wall, make use of chair. It's all good. You'll still get benefits. You're still balancing. You're still balancing. You've just got one fingertip on the wall. It's all good. Yeah, full breath in. And out. Now once more, full breath in. And out. And release. And shake out the legs. Come on, shake out. Fantastic. And then just coming into a sitting position. So as always, use a chair as needed, or blocks, or whatever you need to do. You're going to bring your thumb, little, and ring finger together. So you've got your two peace fingers extended, known as Pran mudra. So you're going to come down into your seated position using your blocks or whatever. Bring your hands into Pran mudra. So again, thumb, ring, and little finger. So you've got your two peace fingers extended, and you're going to touch those fingertips to the earth. Now, if they don't quite touch the floor, just use your imagination, okay? Or rest your hands on blocks. Or if you're sitting on a chair, again, use your imagination and imagine that these fingers are in contact with the earth. Bring your head so it's in line with the spine, so the head isn't dropping forward. Close your eyes. Full breath in. Full breaths out. We're going to do several rounds of breath where we breathe in for 4 counts, out for 4 counts. So you're going to bring as much oxygen in as possible and squeeze as much oxygen out. So you're going to breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. And keep going. You might start to feel a little bit lightheaded because we're really trying to get the energy up. We're really kind of moving oxygen, getting, energy in the body. So sticking to that 4 count. So even if you can breathe longer than four, you're trying to bring as much air into your lungs as in 4 counts and squeeze all the air out in 4 counts. It's a very dynamic breath. We've just got a few more rounds. And you're going to breathe in. And you're going to hold 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale. And you can stay here with the fingertips on the floor, or you can rest your hands, palms up on your thighs, and just keeping your eyes closed. I just want you to bring to mind maybe your favorite tree. It might be a tree that you know, or a tree that you've seen, or just one in your imagination. It doesn't matter. Bring to mind a tree that you find appealing, that maybe it really epitomizes strength, stability, the beauty of nature. I've got a few trees around the field where I keep the horses. I absolutely love them, absolutely love them. And you know what? None of them are perfect. None of them are perfect. They've all got branches that are wiggly and all sorts. But bring to mind a tree. Visualize that tree standing strong and majestic no matter what's going on around it. So on windy days, it might get blown about, it may lose a branch, but it still stays strong. Even if a branch breaks, even if branches get cut off, it still grows back. It doesn't fail, it doesn't fall, it stands sturdy, strong, never doubting its strength, its divinity. And imagine you as that tree, that you may bend, you may get battered around, but ultimately you don't break. Visualize that tree's roots going right down into the soil, spreading out far and wide. So not only going down, but spreading outwards as well. Really keeping that tree, so its roots. And here's the thing, the more a tree gets blown around, the deeper its roots are. Because it learns to dig deeper, it learns its strength, it learns the ability to grow roots more so that it can be stronger. So trees that grow in places where it's very windy, their roots are really long and strong. So imagine all the things that you have been through that have increased your strength. We often don't take it as strength or courage, but all the challenging situations you've been through, times when maybe you've been on the floor feeling broken, feeling like you couldn't get up, but all those occasions have caused your roots to sink deeper because there was something in you that kept you going, even when you really didn't want to, even when you thought you couldn't keep going. Your roots went deeper. Your roots went deeper, because you have the strength, the ability, when you are put under stress, to get stronger. Maybe that tree's trunk got thicker so that it felt stronger. If you look at a tree's branches, they won't be totally straight. They will change direction because it will aim for the sunniest spot, because it knows it has a divine intelligence that tells it what to do, to aim for the sunshine, to get the best nutrients, to keep it strong, because the tree trusts its own divine intelligence. You too can trust your own divine intelligence. Think, feel, imagine how strong, how invincible you feel when you truly trust, truly believe in your own divine nature, your own divine strength, so that even though you may get battered around, even though you may really bend and feel like you're going to break, you don't. You come back stronger. Each time you come back stronger. You dig deeper. And when it's time for those leaves to fall, the tree doesn't weep for the leaves that it lets go of. It knows it needs to let go of these leaves so that it can go into a state of rest through winter. It also knows that those leaves will fall in the ground and they will kind of turn to mulch, which will provide nutrients for not only the tree itself, but other plants around. So actually, in the letting go, it's a new beginning. So it might seem like an ending, it might seem like they're letting go of something, but they're creating something new. So also keep that in mind, that whenever you think something is an ending, it's just a new beginning. And it may seem challenging and scary at the time, but what we think is an ending is just a new beginning. But we see a door instead of an open doorway. So noticing how it feels. I embrace the beauty of change, just as nature transforms and transitions, trusting that growth comes from letting go. I embrace the beauty of change, just as nature transforms and transitions, trusting that growth comes from letting go. Noticing how that feels, inner strength, inner courage. And when you are ready, bringing your hands together, bring your hands to your heart, heart to your hands. Take a little bow to seal your practice. Namaste. Remember, if you feel the need to lay down and have time in Shavasana, then please do. If you want to just take a moment to check in before you go about your day, then do so. Trust your own divine intelligence. Namaste. Blessings. Beautiful friend.